welcome back to Patched.
Welcome back.
Yes.
Today we got the SteelSeries Apex Pro, the TKL or 10 keyless version, meaning there's no number pad. So optionally you can pick up the one with the 10 key on it. I prefer not to because I always bump my mouse into it.
Sadly, but, they are the same price. It's the same price as a full-size keyboard, which makes no sense, right? That doesn't make any sense. The TKL should be cheaper. But
it comes in at $180.
Yes.
Now that is a premium price point.
Ooh, yes.
Not quite as premium as the G915, which we also reviewed. But yeah, I mean, it's got some cool features.
But yeah, so we've been playing with this, and I guess we'll start off with what it comes with, and it comes with this magnetic kind of wrist rest, and
it's not like cushiony, but it's like a cool like sort of silicone finish on there.
Yeah, it's got a nice finish, and it's magnetic, so that's cool. But I mean, it's kind of useless. I don't use it.
If you're into wrist rests, you got one. You know, I personally don't use them. I used to, but not anymore.
Yeah.
And then you've got actually two USBs. So one I'm assuming is for the drivers, and then the extra one is extra power for the lights.
Yeah.
That's typically how it's done. But yeah, not a braided cable, which is a little weird. But also, I mean, you do have the adjustment in the back, so you can actually change sort of which way the cable runs, which is actually a really nice feature. Because for my desk, I have my Go XLR, so like sort of like a Stream Deck sort of deal, sitting right in front of my keyboard, and so now I can choose which side it's going to go off of. Because every keyboard we've gotten comes off a different side, and it's usually not adjustable. So that's a nice little feature in there.
That is. It's a really thick cable though. Look at it.
Yeah, it's a thick boy.
Look at that. So it's not very nice as far as, you know, it's 2019. We like to have braided cables, but you know, that's just how it is. As far as on the bottom, we have kickstands. It's adjustable to just one angle, which I guess that's not bad. It's a nice click. It feels pretty premium. It doesn't feel like it's flimsy or anything. And then on the bottom is it feels like it's plastic.
Yeah.
It feels like it's plastic. They're saying it's 5000 series grade of aluminum or whatever.
But maybe that's just the top.
I feel like that's just the top.
Yeah.
You know. So, but I guess that is nice. But on the bottom, they're using a plastic, which I don't think for $180 is the best choice of materials.
But I mean, at the same time, it reduces the weight because this is super lightweight.
Oh, yeah.
It's like 1.7 pounds, I think they said.
Yeah.
So comparatively to all our other like aluminum keyboards, those things are actually pretty heavy. So super lightweight is nice. You can move it around the desk easy. So some of the extra features that this guy comes with is you've got this pass-through port right here. So if you want to plug a mouse into it, charge your phone, whatever, you got a nice little port there. Really convenient to have actually. It has its use. And then an interesting one, which we really don't see often, is an OLED screen in the top right there. And you can actually change what's on there. So like I put up our logo on there when I had it connected to my computer. We just go ahead and swip something up in Photoshop. It's just black or white, but it's just a nice little feature. And then you've got sort of adjustable rocker here, and then a button below that. And this is to scroll through like your settings, things like that, because you can actually adjust the actuation point of the keys, which we'll get into a little bit later. But the OLED screen it's actually like, it seems gimmicky, but it's a really cool feature. I mean, it's actually, I like it. I like it.
As far as low profile, this keyboard isn't the lowest profile keyboard that I've ever seen, but I'd say it's average.
Yeah.
You know,
there's a lot less bezel than a lot of keyboards.
Oh yeah, this is a very compact keyboard as far as the TKL goes, which is good. And I do like how they added the screen and the volume rocker here, because a lot of times, or sometimes, companies just leave this blank, and you're like, why don't you just put something there? You know,
there's just empty space where you put your logo there. Logitech, we're looking at you.
Exactly. Yep. So you guys are probably wondering about the switches. So SteelSeries made, you know, very special switches for this keyboard.
Yeah, so they have the OmniPoint switches in there, which is sort of an interesting thing. So it's the only one you can get. We checked Amazon. On the older version, you can get brown or red switches, which is still not necessarily cherry. The OmniPoint switch is really cool because it's got a response time of 0.7 milliseconds, which is really crazy. And comparatively on their website, they actually showed the response time of a Cherry MX switch being 5 milliseconds, which is, I mean,
that's way slower.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
For gaming, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Like if you take a look at like a monitor, right? You want 1 millisecond response time. I will notice if it's 3 milliseconds off.
Yeah.
Like you notice that. Another cool feature about these, you can actually adjust the actuation point. So now this is the point where during your sort of bottoming out the key, where the key is going to actually register as pressed down. So you can make it, you can make it 0.4 millimeters if you want to. And that's as opposed to like a regular cherry switch, at 1.2 millimeters.
Yeah.
But that is super high actuation. So I mean that's like literally brush over the key.
Exactly.
And it'll actuate.
And
or you can make it so you can fully bottom it out and then it actuates. So.
Yeah. And you can do that all in the settings if you would like, which is cool. So like if you're typing, you obviously don't want a very short actuation distance, because if you just accidentally press something, you don't want it to actually press, right?
Yeah.
But when you're gaming, you want the fastest response time. So over your opponents, you can have that better or faster response of like movement or whatever, doing your ability. Then the shorter actuation distance will be better for response time if you're a gamer.
Exactly. And then I found out in their software, which is optional, you can actually adjust that per key. So if you wanted to just do that for your WASD keys or like your shift key for sprint, that's really cool that you can adjust that.
That's
and then
really
have it sort
cool.
of normal for typing. And then of course there's different profiles. So if you're gaming, swap your profile you're gaming, maybe have an actuation point that's different than your regular typing sort of profile.
Yes. So as far as the switches go, they're actually very smooth. I like the feeling of the switch, but I don't know what it is. I feel like maybe this rubber or this LED thing, I feel like it stops the key a little bit shorter than normal, because it feels like the actuation, or it feels like the actual distance for pressing the keys a little bit shorter than my other keyboards. I don't know if it is, but that's just how it feels to me. And also it feels like there's an O-ring on this, and I feel like when you press it down, it hits this like LED kind of like rubber plastic piece right here, and it just like dampens the press a little bit,
Yeah.
And personally, I don't like that. Like my GMMK or my Durgod or my N2 Pro, it's just like it's really loud, and it feels like the click feels a little bit harder, but on this keyboard it feels a little bit softer to me, and I don't like it as much, even though the switch is very smooth. It's a linear switch, but Lucas really likes it.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing about this, because it's the switch, if you pull the keycap off, is actually red, so it is a fully linear switch, but I really like this as opposed to like cherry reds. I don't know why. So it feels like the actual the weight that you have to put, the word escapes my mind, but the actual weight you have to use to push down the key feels like a little bit higher, which I actually like. But yeah, it's a lot more silent than your standard red switch, which I like. And the typing experience on this was great. I loved it. So it's sort of a to each their own sort of thing.
Yeah.
Which is why we have two reviewers sitting at the table.
Yeah. To me, it was alright. It definitely wasn't the best experience for typing or anything.
So the keycaps, we couldn't actually find anywhere what they're made out of, but they feel good to me, and they haven't started like shining yet. So I want to assume PBT, but they haven't released it anywhere. So keycaps feel good though.
Yeah, and it has a nice little shape, a curved shape there, so it kind of cradles your finger. It feels nice, and
it shines through. The RGB shine through really nicely.
Yes.
And that actually rolls us into the next feature, which is the RGB on this. So through their software, the RGB, the things you can change on there reminds me of like Corsair's old software. It's really good. Everything you can adjust in their software, everything's fully customizable.
And there's not a lot of button shake or anything, just a slight bit, but that's normal. Definitely not as bad as I would say the G915, which had a lot of, or a good amount of button wobble.
So this guy's got full N key rollover, meaning you can press as many keys and it picks up all of them at the same time. There's anti-ghosting on there.
So for me personally, it's a great keyboard, And also this is my first TKL. I have a lot of 60 or 65% and full size keyboards, but I've never had a TKL. It's a nice size, And I love having my dedicated arrows and I guess the volume rocker and stuff. And it's a good form factor where it's not like too long where it's uncomfortable for me to actually game with. So I do like TKLs. This keyboard, it's nice, but the switches for me personally, I didn't really like as much because it just didn't feel as clicky as to what I would like. But I do really like the customization feature of, like changing the actuation point on the key. That's really cool. So
yeah, I mean that's the thing. Is it a great keyboard? Yes, I think so. Is it $180 worth of keyboard? It's hard to say. That's,
I mean,
like
just ask yourself. Like the main feature I would say is the switch and like changing the actuation point and stuff like that for response time and stuff. But do you really need that? If you really need that, then it's a great option. If you don't, then you know, $180 for this keyboard, I don't think it's that worth it. You know?
Yeah.
So anyway.
I would pick this up for $100. I would say that.
Yeah, definitely. I would pick up any keyboard for $100 to be honest. You know?
At this point, yeah, they're also expensive.
Exactly. So, anyways, if you guys want to get it, we'll leave a link in the description box. But that's our review. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next.
See you in the next one.